Thank you for meeting with me. Can you say your name and talk about what you do for work?
My name is Madeline Lau. I am the general manager here at Wallowa Lake Lodge. We're a seasonal business and we run from May through September and then close down for the winter and do a number of private events during that time of year.
How did you get into the profession?
So I think hospitality is an intriguing business because I heard it said once that there are low barriers to entry and high opportunity for promotion. And so when I first came to Wallowa County in 2011, I was an interpretive park ranger with Oregon State Parks. I fell in love with the area, worked a season, left, and came back in 2019 after doing some concert coordinating and large-scale event planning work. And I knew about Wallowa Lake Lodge and how it had been a community fixture for nearly 100 years, and they were looking for a general manager. So I've always been really interested in working with people and working in customer service and working with the public. So I kind of just reached out on a whim without a lot of specific hospitality training, and it ended up being a good personality fit. So I got thrown in the deep end pretty quick.
How did you decide which path to take after high school?
Sure. So when I went to high school in Scio, which is a small rural high school near Albany. And I was really involved in FFA and really motivated to go to college, but I went to college in Los Angeles and realized really quickly that what I wanted to do was be in the woods and be in nature, and I didn't want to be in the city at all. So in the summer when I would come back from school, I interned with state parks and learned that there was this whole arm of being a ranger that involved doing educational presentations, planning events, working with the public, doing PR, and I got really interested in that. So I worked for the state coordinator for a summer, and then I worked in John Day, which is a very cool part of Eastern Oregon. And that's how I started to find out about Eastern Oregon and this area and the people, and I fell in love with that. And then I got my first permanent seasonal position here at Wallowa Lake State Park and loved the work. I started a triathlon. I helped found an annual kokanee festival, and it was really, really rewarding and really fun. Then I moved away, got married, lived in Chicago, did some forest advocacy work, had several children, kind of kept my foot in the door of doing either forest stewardship stuff or kind of melding into events and community planning. And then I came back to Oregon and started working for the city of Lake Oswego doing concerts. And so I did that for several years while my kids were really young. And then in 2019, like I mentioned, moved back to Joseph and started working here at the lodge.
Why did you want to leave in the first place?
Absolutely. I think having a background in a rural area and an urban area makes you a much more marketable candidate for a variety of jobs. I say that a lot out here in this area where I work now. We're quite rural, but we have a huge amount of urban people coming through and staying at our lodge. There's a level of customer service standard that I would say, and this is controversial, is higher in an urban area. People have maybe higher expectations. One thing I notice working rurally, sometimes with staff, is people have maybe grown up changing pipe. That's the job that they've done since they were 11. And so the idea of, like for me, I started working at 14 at Enchanted Forest, doing everything from wearing a squirrel costume to scooping ice cream and always constantly interacting with the public. And the customer service standard was high. Like, you had to be good. So I think there can be some discrepancies in that regard, but my heart is in rural Oregon, especially Eastern Oregon, I think that you cannot beat the people here. Everyone works really hard, salt of the earth. We're a super collaborative community. And so you don't have the anonymity that you have in an urban environment, which can be really good. I think it's nice. People will hold you accountable.
What does your day-to-day look like at work?
Yeah, so as general manager here at Wallowa Lake Lodge, I could do any number of things every day. So for example, this morning I had a meeting with a business partner in the community. I came up to the lodge. I met with a family that is hosting their wedding here next year. We did a tour of the facility. I drafted an agreement and a facilities agreement for them, took their deposit, got that all squared away, answered their questions for their wedding. And then we're short-staffed right now because we're at the end of our season. A lot of people go back to school. So I hopped in to do some housekeeping and cleaned a few rooms and a few of our cabins. We're also experiencing wildfires in this area right now. So we are trying to help by housing some evacuated families. So we were cleaning and getting space ready for them. And then while I was cleaning, I found out that my scheduled front desk agent that was going to come in could not. So when I was done cleaning, it was my job to hop on the front desk and check our guests in, take reservations for our restaurant. And so I'll be doing that for the rest of the night. But it's not uncommon for me to go behind the bar and make drinks for people. Any number of little projects at any point. The important thing, I think, when you are the manager is that you step in to do whatever needs to be done.
What kind of skills do you need to be successful in the work that you do?
That's an interesting question. I didn't come from a hospitality background, but I did come from a customer service background. So I would say strong customer service skills, which you can learn from being a barista, you can learn from working at McDonald's. Like if you get a good foundation of customer service skills, how to treat people, being respectful, being cognizant of what they might be experiencing in their day, that all is very vital. Having a little bit of perspective can help. Outside of that, I really think writing skills are very important. I write contracts, I write agreements, I write content for our website, social media posts, sometimes press releases, sometimes speeches. For instance, we did in July a ceremony with the Nez Perce tribe because the land that the lodge sits on is owned in a conservation easement with the tribe. And we were finally able to celebrate that after 2 years of COVID. So it was my job to write the whole script for that day, any remarks that I was going to read to the crowd, and handle the organization of that event. So a big part of my job is also event planning and then scheduling. You wouldn't believe how much time scheduling takes. We had about 40 employees this year, and we try to offer flexible scheduling. Every week it changes. Yeah, so writing and public speaking are two of the most important skills I think you can have in any job, literally any job, but especially a public-facing career. I have to do public speaking opportunities all the time. That comes up, and to be able to have the background of having some degree of poise and being articulate and expressing your point is vital. And I did a lot of competitive public speaking when I was in high school through FFA, different student groups. It's a great skill. And also writing. A lot of adults don't know how to string a group of ideas together into a coherent statement. So I have done a lot of editing. I have a couple of board members who are very successful professionals, and I have edited some letters that they have written. And we submitted those to the public from a perspective of the lodge. And so I'm glad I got to have a hand in that, because also with writing, it goes to a greater realm of branding and what you want to say, what your business stands for, what you stand for. So your written words can express a lot, and just having those fundamental writing skills are really, really important.
What was high school like for you?
That's such an interesting question. I think that when I was younger in school, I was very focused on doing a good job, being a good student. I think I was a little bit hung up on being the best or the top of my class or a really, really good writer. And I don't know that that necessarily served me as well as being open to new things and trying experiences and subjects that I wasn't naturally really good at. That was really where the major growth happened. Stepping outside of my comfort zone, trying a different thing, being bad at something and being okay with it. That's gonna happen all your life. And even like now, I'm in my 30s and I just started learning how to ski, and I had a whole mental stumbling block for that. It was so embarrassing for me to be on skis and falling over like some really gangly, weird baby horse. Like I couldn't do it. It was absolutely mortifying, and I was disgusted with myself. And I had some really wonderful friends that were out there that were like, get back up, keep trying, we're not gonna let you quit. And that was really good for me. And then I learned how to ski. I'm not good at skiing, but I learned. So going outside of your comfort zone, trying different things, being open to stuff that you're not already naturally talented at, very important.
What do you love about your job?
I don't think I could do a job if I wasn't personally really invested in the project. And when I first came to the lodge and I realized that there was this very cool community hub that had been around for a long time, but had kind of been neglected, or former owners had maybe had different standards for who could use it and who couldn't. And the community was sort of hesitant to come here, and the lobby felt like a library. It was very quiet. There were lace curtains everywhere blocking the view. And so for me, like the project there just totally fired me up. And I have ADD. I like a job where I have a million different things going on and I'm not sitting at a desk. Like I couldn't do that. There is a desk element to my job. I have a ton of computer time that I have to do. But what the environment I thrive in is one where I gotta go in the kitchen and check that breakfast is going okay. I gotta go out and help a guest that's having a concern. I've gotta go, gosh, even this isn't nice, but like even the other day someone called and they were like, it looks like an animal was hit on the road and there's no one here to deal with it. Can someone come down and like check it out? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like I'm on my way. And so there's just 1,000 things that happen in the course of the day, and I love that element of my job.
How would you describe your career journey?
My career journey has always centered around working with people, and I realize that's my favorite part of any job I've had. And the people are the most memorable, and the experiences I've had working with the public, that's what I love to do. So my career journey has taken some twists and turns. I read once that for someone my age, it's normal to switch careers 7 times in your lifetime. And it wasn't that way for our parents, so we're kind of carving a different path. But I think it's okay to try a lot of different things and figure out where your heart really lies. I wouldn't have expected that I'd end up in hospitality. I also have to manage our restaurant, and I never would have expected that, but it all comes down to people. So my career journey has been centered around people, and I love that.